DT, how are you? Good day. I was going to say good morning, but it's almost noon.
Well, yeah, it's still a good day. I
It is a good day, and
Yeah,
it's a good day. Good. It's like a bright new year in front of
pearl
us.
snap on your Western shirt.
These are all pearl snaps. Of course they are.
Well played.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'll be honest. Goodwill, because I don't. I have no problem shopping at
Me
Goodwill.
neither.
There's good stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, some other clown didn't like that lovely Western. It's got the placards. So
It's
we're
got
both
the
wearing Western shirts and
yeah.
sweet
We
on you.
we look borderline respectable. So now I think people can put a little bit of uh I guess faith in what we're going to discuss today because it is fact-based because you know how I like to make it fast-based, but we're going to talk about the this time of year when people have with the holidays in the rearview mirror put on a few extra pounds. Let's face it, it happens to us all.
Yeah, in spite of our maybe our best efforts, but
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Well, I mean, it's okay to enjoy the holidays, right? And there's some great food, of course, around Thanksgiving and around Christmas and a little excess around New Year's. But it's not just us because there's multiple studies. Like, I've got almost everything I'm going to refer to today is based on, the New England Science of Medicine or the National Association of Medicine. But there's multiple studies that say adults do gain weight over November to January holiday period.
Yeah, I wonder if any of that is due to your geography too. So
That's one thing I didn't check.
where I live, so it's currently 23 degrees and
Yeah.
it's whatever there is 6 or 8 inches of snow out on the ground. It's been cold and miserable, so my activity drops and I'm not the only one. We kind of go into hibernation mode. So I split my time. Part of the winter I'll be in a warm climate and part of it I'm here at my home. But I notice all of a sudden I'm homebound as holidays are starting to hit. So my activity's dropping and my caloric intake goes up frequently on some of these days. So you're fighting a two-edged battering ram or whatever.
Yeah, and we also did an episode because this time I think it's just natural to like you want to put on some bulk because there's a defense mechanism against the winter cold, and it's also we did an episode called seasonal gravy disorder because there's a definite season when gravy becomes a little more prominent on your plate. In Texas, it's year round. I don't know about you guys because chicken fried steak, biscuits and gravy, uh, red gravy. I haven't made yet, but that sounds fantastic. Um, but yeah, but the thing is, like you hear people saying, you hear like the average on holiday, it's a lot of more is reported, and you actually are like a kind of our case study that 5 to 10 pounds they say they gain during the holidays.
Yeah, I gained 6.
Yeah, I was surprised to see because
On
it's
one holiday, I gained 6. So in a span of 6 days, 6 pounds. So say this holiday happens on a Thursday, but I had another party on a Wednesday, and then I went out with people on a Tuesday, and so it just snowballed.
no
Um,
pun intended.
so yeah, I gained a true 6. I have the stuff to prove it. I'm one of those weirdos. I don't know about you. I weigh every day, whatever. It's in my bathroom by my shower, so it's part of my routine. The shaving, brushing your teeth, take a shower, and step on the scale. And so I gained 6 pounds in 6 days.
Well, see, that's why, I mean, because I've heard that all my life. People say they put on quote unquote a few pounds during the holidays. But I was surprised as I was digging into this because there's more than one study. But for example, the New England Journal of Medicine says the average weight gain is 1.05 pounds. And but they say, of course, of that zero point 0.8 is between Thanksgiving and New Year's. But there's more than one that says uh, zero point 0.8 or 1 pound is the total.
Yeah, so not knowing how a study is done, what the test size of the study, if they just asked people,
200
because
people.
everybody probably has a variation. Almost nobody is exactly 174 pounds every day. You know, you eat a salty meal the day before, Chinese food or something with soy, whatever, or, or hormonally, uh, bowel movements, whatever. How much fluid you drank the day before. So I have a standard variation deviation of like 2 pounds. If I'm just running a steady weight all the time, it's a 2 pound variation. I would think small people. I'm not a small person. I don't know if people can, gather from the voice and this lovely frame that I'm in here, but I'm not small. So I'm currently running, today was 239, 240. I have been as high as 300 pounds and
Whoa,
then
really?
305 2 years ago.
Wow.
And then as low as 234 just recently. So uh, it takes a tremendous effort, and it's way easier to put 6 pounds on in 6 days than it is for me to take the 6 pounds back off.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, I mean, because I'm like I said, I'm reporting, some of this I'm just like spewing out what the New England Journal of Medicine says. So these are not my word. The holiday bump is small, but it's disproportionate. First of all, it's disproportionate because it happens between, that time of year. But they also say that overweight people are gained more than what they call normal weight adults, and we're less likely to lose it. So it makes sense. It's not that we like it, but a clinical summary they say from Rush University, which is Chi-Town, that the average adult gains zero point 0.8 over the holiday. It's people who are already overweight can go 5 pounds. So now we're getting into like I gained a few pounds.
Yeah. So, like I said, at 240, I had a 2.5% weight gain. So the 100 pound woman or whatever, or 100 pound guy, if they're going to gain 2.5 pounds where I gained the six. So, and I believe that metabolism wise, like I said, it's super easy for me to put weight on. Um,
Well,
and
I mean,
so,
because my
I,
first thought was like at our age, it's easier to put on weight and harder to take off. So I started looking into that, and I was looking into that, as I was like, let's might as well do it, based on gender too. I don't know if women have a harder time than men or
what do
men
the
have.
stats say?
Pardon?
What do the stats say? Is that true? I mean, it's
Well, I
men
mean,
50
again, this is
pounds,
a
men
medical
60.
journal, the Journal of American Medical Association. So this is like the big dogs out of DC. They said the weekly fluctuations are similar by sex. Women had up to were up to 50% of the test size, so it was a good size. 60% women, 40% men, approximately, but no significant effect of age or gender. That's really what they say. Initial body weight is the main predictor. So it's like, and this is getting really heavy, so I want to get away from it. But holiday weight gain occurs across age groups and in both men and women with baseline weight and behavior, and they did in parentheses diet, alcohol, activity, number of gatherings being more important than age or sex.
Yeah. So you said you held pretty true. And so I went to 3 gatherings, and those gatherings involve me. So some of it is probably a human condition where if you have something you don't normally have, you want to try and have as much of it as you can, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's sex, money, food, whatever. If you're getting a treat, you want to have more of that. So I told you, so for the first of the holiday trifecta or whatever, um, I went over and shout out to Cajun Ron. There was a Cajun restaurant by where Mitch and I uh, used to roam around at, the, the Cajun Connection. He
Yeah,
kind of retired, but he made a bunch of pecan pies, kind of his specialty, and he was selling them through one of the local stores. I got told, hey, bring a pies, so I went and bought a couple of these pies. Pretty tasty
yeah.
pecan pie with the whatever his special recipe was. I think it's got some Tabasco sauce in it or something.
Love Cajun Ron.
And so well done, Cajun Ron. I can't give you, but anyway, so I didn't just have the 1/8 of a piece of pie or whatever a pie slice is supposed to be, if it's supposed to be 8 pieces out of a pie or 12 or whatever. My pie serving size is 2/3 of a pie.
That might be a problem. That might be.
So, and then I bought two because I thought, well, maybe I'll take one to the second thing. So luckily I was able to give that away to somebody. Here, take this from me before I hurt myself even worse. But I had spice cake, pumpkin pie, plates of turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and yams.
Yeah.
And I just went nuts. Not as nuts as I have previously. So I was actually showing some restraint. Like I'm only going to have one big plate that's the size of a cafeteria tray full of food for my food, and then I'm going to have a little bit of dessert. Yes, I'll just give me a piece of that, and then they bring over a piece of all of that, and
It's tough. It's tough.
then when I leave, uh, shout out to the sister and her kids. But here, take this with you. So I bring home the leftovers from the stuff I brought. They're sending home because they don't have room in their and plates of other food. So like a warm up meal. So I actually went to the
Yeah.
gym on Thanksgiving morning. They were open till noon, and I went for 2 hours. I'm like, I'm going to try to undo some of that damage from the night before. But then I got home at 12:30. Might as well heat up this plate of turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, yams, blah blah blah. Had that. Then went to a third Thanksgiving meal that evening at 5, and oh,
Wow.
get yourself a plate. Then did the whole rinse and repeat. And so and then went out to breakfast with Bobby, whatever. So it was a bunch of stuff I don't normally do. So I'm back on the wagon, but I don't regret. I regret putting on the weight. I should have had ate it with smothered in laxatives or something. But
I don't know. I don't know. Because like you say, the pie scenario, I was home alone, but like an idiot, I made a pie. And but it's like a
it
bourbon
looked
apple pie.
delicious. The bourbon apple, yeah.
Oh my God, it was good. But you actually helped because I was like, okay, I cut half of it up, put some pieces in the freezer because it freezes well. So I'll pull it out later in the year. I don't even know when, but it's always had nice when like I bump open a Tupperware thing in the freezer. I'm like, what the hell's in here? Pie? That's a nice touch. But but like you mentioned the gym because there's the quote unquote the January effect, and you've been going to the gym long enough. I've seen it long. You see like a spike in January.
So yeah, I mean the gyms love it. They sell a billion memberships for people who are not going to go after the second or third time, or when do they usually quit? Mid-February.
Yeah, you can usually see like by, end of February, March, it's like, no, it's like big because even like the Nielsen survey says over one-third of Americans report a plan to exercise more as a New Year's goal. 32% say to eat healthier. Google says the search interest for diet peaks in January, which is kind of funny. But
Yeah,
they also
so
have a trend on there for the search for lose weight. That's late December and January.
yeah, it's sort of a shame we do that to us, but like I said, these and it's an every year thing or whatever. So, but you have to have a lifestyle change. The diet thing doesn't work for me personally. I can't. Hey, let's go lose. So when I was young, I could put on the winter blubber real quick and take it off real quick. Whatever.
Yeah,
Like, okay, fine. I'll exercise for a week. This will be gone, and it worked. My metabolism is slowed, so it had to be lifestyle changes. You and I eat things we probably don't like. We take supplements. We go to the gym more. It takes a lot more effort and thoughtfulness to maintain sort of a healthy body.
I
And
agree.
just a fact. So we're probably really if we could still do cartwheels every time we get a good result from our blood work or whatever, we're over the moon over it because like, whew, I'm probably not going to die between now and the next physical.
Well, you just got
So
some good results yesterday. I don't know if you want to share them or not, but
yeah, I mean, all my blood work was really good, and so I'm the typical 62-year-old guy who goes to the gym and doesn't like I'm not getting enough results. I feel, you know, and so I'm looking to supplement. And I thought, well, I'm going to get some testosterone. Now all your ads, if I
yeah,
mention the word testosterone, I'm going to
it's
see
popular.
ads from 50 different companies. So I did the $45 go get my blood work done, blah blah blah. Well, luckily my testosterone was 564 or 546 or something.
574, I believe you
Yeah, whatever it
reported.
was. It was it was very high, where high enough where they're not going to prescribe testosterone for me. So the good and the bad, I would rather, it was 800 or 900, like I was 35, but um, so I'm going to decide whether I want to take some other stuff they were recommending that should do it. And the guy said if you get yourself another hour or so of sleep a night, it'll go up
Yeah,
probably another
that surprised me.
20.
I didn't know sleep had an impact on testosterone because like you, I mean, my last test, I was up in that range as well. And I think 800 is high as you can go. So at our age, we should be damn happy to be, near 600. But generally, because I was like you say, it's a lifestyle change. I was concerned, not concerned, but curious if it's like this around the world or if it's more of an American thing. So I did a United States study, and they say just on average, like 10 to 12% of Americans resolve to make a New Year's resolution to lose weight. They resolve to exercise more in January and to eat healthier. But yeah, it's the exercise more and lose weight are repeatedly among the top U.S. resolutions.
So I know uh, maybe you don't listen to it or care or whatever. So I've been listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Pump Club podcast for a couple of years and joined the Pump Club and stuff. And so I thought it was pretty nice. He puts out a daily newsletter podcast, and the thing the day after Thanksgiving was, and he's always preaching this: don't set a goal like, oh, you know what? After the first of the year, I'm going to start going to the gym. Don't do that. Do it. I'm going to start today, with some effort towards my goals. Make your goal if you want to lose weight. It starts today, whatever the day is. So if this airs January 4th, don't wait, hey, after this next thing, after my vacation that I got coming up or after whatever, put the effort in today. Start doing healthy things for yourself today. You're not a failure if you put on 6 pounds during a holiday
No,
event.
no, it's you're,
A
you're
lot of
more
people
normal.
take that mindset. I can't lose weight. I just put on weight. I struggled so hard for 2 months to lose 6 pounds, and then in 6 days I put it on. Like I said, the thing is to get back into the cycle of, okay, I took some time off. Arnold says I ate the pie, I ate the schnitzel, I did the drink. He says that's important, and he's right. It is important to go do those things and have some variety in life, but it's also important to prioritize your health. We joke all the time. I'm still vain, not like
Mhm.
I was, but you probably are too. You should be proud of that hair. We try to take care of ourselves, whatever. I've got this going on, but so I'm not as vain. I'm not ridiculously vain, but I would like to look better. I would also like to not only feel better, be in better shape, get better results, and have my longevity be more, be able to be more active. But I would like to look better. I would like to
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
my midsection to have pecs and biceps and a six pack abs, and that's gets less easy all the time. It doesn't mean that I should quit working towards those goals.
Yeah, I don't know if it's how realistic it is at our age, but it's because you're always going to see like this guy's 70 and he's what they call it, not a rock star, not a anyway, but he's a unit. They said he's a unit. But little things like I've told you before, like you've been to the Atlanta airport, you get off that tram and you got to go up two full stories of escalator. And I remember the last time I was there, I was like, the hell with it, I'm going to run up it. And I ran up it pretty easy. I wasn't even breathing hard. So it's just little things like that I'm happy with.
Yeah, a lot of it was some of it's luck, but you make your own luck, and whatever. We've heard that too. So, uh, for those who don't know, Mitch is a year older than I am,
Oh, there you go.
but
I don't know
we're
why we
both
needed to call that
we're
out, but
both
go
very
ahead.
lucky that at our ages and among our peer groups, we're probably able to do as much or more activity than a lot of people, and so we're pretty blessed at that. But we
Yeah.
both put some time into it and some effort into it.
Yeah, but I mean, well, because for me, it's easier if I do a workout that extends over a month. I mean, I do it all year long. I try to work out that extends over months, not just so I'll get like, a 3 month long workout where you progress through it. And I'd like to suggest for everybody who's listening today, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you want, if anybody wants, I could paste this when we post the episode, um, but it'll also be in the transcripts, I believe. But I'll start working out, say, a different type of workout in January because I know by April in Texas we can be going swimming, and I don't want to look like a fat bastard. Uh, if I'm going swimming down to Barton Springs. So this episode, this workout I'm going to suggest is even if you're in a colder climate and you start in January and you work through, let's say March or the middle of March or even into April, it gives you a nice start to the year. And then maybe you can get some momentum going because, like you say, I'm 63, but I'm not fragile. I'm not retired to a recliner. I still, like you, I still lift regularly. I work, I walk, I travel, I work, I haul stuff. So I'm not looking for like chair yoga, some easy workout like that. So for me, it has to be pretty straightforward. So you can be strength training for 3 days a week, do some cardio 3 to 4 days a week, and do some mobility stuff because people ignore the mobility stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have my whole life, and um, but to the listener, so he says, he's not about the chair yoga and he's about the weightlifting. But if that's what you have to start out with as one of the listeners, do that. And,
Yeah.
don't set goals that are unattainable. You're like, well, so I try to do the 10,000 steps a day. It's a random number. They say, most medical studies say that the six to, you know, but anyway, if you're only taking 1,000 and you bump that by 500 and then you try 2 weeks later to get to 2,000, that's still an improvement. Anything you can do to, make an improvement on your fitness. So, yeah, so lay on the floor in the living room and do some yoga and then try
Anything
to
like
do a few more minutes of yoga the next time you do it.
because, like you say, we'll see new people coming into the gym in January, and let's face it, some of them are not in the best shape of their lives. But my immediate thought is good for you. I mean, I'm not in the best shape of everybody in the world, but we're here trying, so that's really all that matters.
Yeah, so I don't, we have one friend, the Mook, who's, very fit. You know, uh, he's got a body that's very impressive. You know,
Hmm.
so
He's
what
also
I,
our fitness guru.
yeah, he's our fitness guru. There's nothing I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do the things it takes to get that body. I can make the one I have better. I can, I work on my flexibility. I love riding a bicycle if the weather permits. So now I'm currently, weather's not permitting where I'm at. I'm riding in the gym for 30 minutes. I don't know that that's going to really help me lose weight, but I like that it gets the blood pumping. It makes my arthritic hips feel better. And so that's how I always start out my workout, with 20 to 35 minutes of riding on one of those Peloton machines.
I
It
love
doesn't
the
have to be
Peloton.
high impact stuff or whatever. Then I go into, some weightlifting. I don't do it. I'm not a bodybuilder, so I don't do today's, Monday's legs, Tuesdays back, whatever. I do a whole body workout when I go. Um, and so, but yeah, try to mix it up. I just try to do the things, the weight loss could happen without the diet. But why not do both? I've adapted. I don't need to be eating the sugars and the fats. I was the kind that used to joke, I am never going to drink diet soft drink. I'm never going to, screw it. I like to, bacon. I'm going to eat as much of it as I can, or whatever bad stuff. I'm going to do the unhealthy habits the rest of my life. Keith Richards has been doing it, so good on him.
That's
So,
that is the
but
low bar.
later, you're like, I don't want the fried foods all the time. They sit too heavy. I would rather have, more choices where I include, you know, vegetables and fruits into my diet every day. Um,
Yeah,
upping your protein, upping your protein helps. Uh, we do too much processed food. I admit to doing the protein, trying to include a protein shake, protein drink every day or something.
yeah, you should try to get, like they say, lean protein 25 to 30 grams at every meal. And I've learned from my son, he keeps whey protein on hand because that's tough to do. It's tough to get. So keep it. And it's like you say, you're not regimented on the workout. I'm harder to be regimented to the diet plan because I'm not going to be doing vegetables twice a day. I do vegetables a lot, probably not twice a day. I drink a lot of water. That's important. You do too. It's just like happens. Uh, try to reduce, like I said, over this 3 month plan, small calorie reductions, like try to reduce 300 a day. And but if you do that like over 3 months, you can burn off that 6 pounds. If like we say that's just like kind of where you are, but you also see, you're stronger like with more daily energy. Like I said, maybe not, you're lifting bench pressing 225 like some people. But you get the daily stuff, like I say, the airport. You'll notice that. You notice better mobility. Your clothes will fit better. Your heart and lungs feel better. So, a little commitment.
Yeah, like I said, there's nobody who doesn't get a big benefit from the exercise and diet. Like I said, um, you could be a 30-year-old listener, and so you've been like, yeah, I stay pretty slim or whatever. I stay not, I don't gain that much weight or whatever when a holiday rolls around, but it helps with the fatigue and all that stuff. So good rest. Almost, you're never gonna find a fitness app or a doctor or whatever. Nowadays they say, it used to be it was kind of a hero thing to pin your badge on. I sleep 5 hours a night. I work the 90 hours a week, but your body needs that recovery. If you can get the
Yeah.
7.5 hours of sleep or more a night, that's supposed to be all kinds of benefits,
And I
mental,
just did
physical.
yesterday. I'm surprised. That's the first time in a long time I got over 7 hours. But that's like you mentioned, though. I think it's like keep an eye on the small wins that you get. That's one way. Because this sounds like a death sentence or a 3 month death sentence, but you can make it better. Like you probably do this too. Get yourself some good headphones or good earbuds and listen to music. Oh, and I dare say maybe a podcast. Uh, get some good shoes. These are the little things that I do. Keep a small rotation of workout clothes. I've got the same ones I remember I bought at the outlet mall in Seattle. So I've had them for about 10 years, but they're still there. And sometimes maybe change the scenery. Like when you can, like DT, you're kind of limited by the weather outside, but alternate between indoor and outdoor workouts. I mean, you can still go for a neighborhood walk.
Yeah, I shoveled snow for an hour the other day,
There
so
you go.
um, that's pretty funny. Big article in the Tribune or something about what age should you stop
I saw
shoveling
that too.
snow?
I saw that too. What
And
age
it
should you
ranges
not be
from
shoveling
45 to
snow?
65, but there's something about you're like, what could be the possible difference? I'm going to go to the gym and work out after I shovel myself out of the driveway so I can get there.
Yeah.
But the cold restricts your blood vessels and makes the heart attacks for some reason are twice as likely.
Whatever. That's the same way because Mook doesn't do cardio. He gives it a whatever too. But we just want to, because I mean, the reason why I talk today is because the holidays always add a few pounds for everybody. We wanted to let you know what the real numbers were showing and how it affects us all. So just so you know, you're not alone. And then we give you a plan to getting back on track. And it doesn't have to feel like punishment or it doesn't have to feel like torture. Just make, and like you've said, DT, make an effort. Just get up there and get out. Any effort is a start. And you can take this advice if you want, but don't be too hard on yourself.
Right. The only thing you can fail at is failing to start to do something for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you fat bastard. Oh, I
You
didn't.
don't have to have
I didn't
personal.
say.
You don't have to have personal record. Like I said, you don't have to go bench your personal best all the time, or you don't have to get into some. Like I said, it may lead you to want to do a bunch of real. People like to do those triathlons, whatever.
Ooh,
Those kind of stories are pretty amazing when you see the person who was in terrible shape, never did any stuff, wasn't a gym rat, didn't play sports in high school, and all of a sudden they're doing stuff where they're running a marathon or
yeah. Well, I
whatever.
was talking with my buddy Gavin from Australia, who I met when I was working in Seattle, and we still stay in touch. But it was like a few episodes ago, but it's like boots in the stirrups. So that's the episode with Gavin if you want to check out somebody with a obvious Australian accent. But he's a great guy, pretty funny. But we talked about at the end, like, now we talked about getting up and getting out there. Is there something you want to do that you haven't? And he's like, yeah, I want to go do this 2 mile swim in Hawaii. I'm like, what? But he's pretty active because he'll do these long kayaking. It's not probably not kayaking, but the long boat with the rowing and on
Culling or whatever that's called.
yeah on rivers and in races and like over 100 maybe probably 200-mile courses. So he's in great shape, and he's going to jump in the water in Hawaii and swim with the sharks for 2 hours or 2 miles rather, and whatever. But I don't know. Maybe you're not going to do a swim with the sharks, but maybe there's something you want to do, and this little workout will help you get ready for it.
Yeah, it's so yeah, treat yourself good. Go do something nice for yourself, whatever. And try to limit the amount of crap you put in your system. Like I said, a good piece of Cajun Ron's pecan pie, nothing wrong with that. Entire
Never.
pound, don't do that.
And speaking of treating yourself, I just showed DT I was tipping a little, trust me, it's ice water, out of my Mitch Wonders podcast insulated mug, which I'm not sure if there's one for sale at the on the merch store, but there is. Some stuff for sale on the merch store, some for colder weather. I should put some workout clothes on there as well. In fact, I'll get on there and try to do that today. But if you want to go to mitchwonders.com, here's my point. And you can go in the upper left and click the shop, and that'll open up two pages for you. And then, so on one of those pages, you'll see a button for the merch store, a button if you want to buy Mitch's book, which is, it's a book. DT, but it counts. But also, if you page down a little bit, you'll see some of the items for sale on like a PowerPoint slide. And just want to point out the fact that there's one shirt on there designed specifically for this reason. It's every one of those shirts sold, every penny goes to support the National Veterans Foundation, which is a great foundation because not only does it support veterans, but it's run by veterans, it's staffed by veterans. So if you need to like call the veterans hotline, if something you want to talk about, just want to discuss, you'll be talking to a friend, a peer, a veteran yourself. So, like I say, if you want to go support Mitch's merch store, we appreciate it. If you want to support our military directly, you have that option too.
And all the items are calorie free.
They are. I had to think for a second, but they are all calorie free. Uh, but thanks, DT, for talking today. I know it's this kind of a like it's not a boring topic.
I've been very busy, so I appreciate you having me back on, and been nice talking.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Hopefully, we can do it again sometime soon.
True that.
See you, buddy.